Dear listeners of the AUIB FM 101.5, welcome to Meet the Experts on the Uni Voice Show, where we bring you conversation with distinguished scholars and global thought leaders. Today we are honored to host the Emeritus Professor Murry Thomson, an internationally renowned researcher in dental epidemiology and oral health across the life course. His work in the landmark Dunedin study, which has followed 1,037 individuals since their birth in 1972 and 73, has provided a groundbreaking insights into oral health, aging, and the biological pace of aging. Also, dear listeners, Professor Thomson has made a significant contributions to understanding the oral health in aging populations, developed widely used self-report measures for clinical practice and research, and has been global leader in evaluating how dental care improves the lives of children and their families. And also, dear listeners, he currently serves as editor-in-chief of the Gerodontology, and we are really delighted to welcome him, Professor Thomson, at the Uni Voice Show and Meet the Expert segments. Hello, Professor Thomson.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I want to say something before we dive deep into the research and the findings of this research, really important research. Introduce yourself to the listeners as you want.
Kia ora koutou. I'm Murray, I'm from New Zealand, and the greeting I just used is a Maori greeting, which means hello everybody.
Okay. So, Professor, you have been closely involved in the landmark Dunedin study. What make this type of these studies so powerful compared to more traditional research designs?
Sure, it's a really interesting study, because if you want to find out what happens to people through life, and what are the best ways to look after ourselves through life, you really have to follow people through their lives. And this sort of study is not very common because, as you can imagine, they're very hard to set up and very hard to maintain and very expensive to fund.
Okay.
And you need a big team of people, and I'm only one small part of that big team who run this study. And I was the dental principal and investigator for many years. And I then passed that over to my colleague, Professor Jonathan Broadbent, who's now leading the dental side.
So how many people contribute to this research?
Oh gosh, we have people all over the world who are contributing to it.
Okay.
Contributing their analyses and their ideas and their funds, of course, too, because we need to keep the study going. But of course, the most important people are the 1,037 people who we are studying, and their contribution through their lives has been absolutely immense and continues to be.
So how did you find all of these 1,037 persons around the world? Did you invite them? Did you search for them to have this official study about the life and aging?
No, actually, they're a complete birth cohort. So they're all of the babies who were born between the 1st of April 1972 and the 31st of March 1973 in Dunedin, my city in New Zealand. And we have then followed them wherever they are, and we fly them back to Dunedin every few years for 1 or 2 days of assessments.
Okay.
And only about 1/3 of them still live in Dunedin. The rest are spread around the world, and a lot of them are in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Professor, your findings on the pace of aging have attracted global attention. How do you measure biological aging, and is it possible to slow it down? A lot of people are wondering around the world.
Yes, we've got certain billionaires and people who are very interested in this. We determined the pace of biological aging by using a suite of 19 different biomarkers. ranging from sort of blood measures to skin measures and even dental measures. And we put all those together into something that is now called the Dunedin pace of aging marker, and we were able to identify people's pace of aging, and this was done not just at one point but right through their adult lives. And so every year we're all aging at the same chronological pace. Every year we all turn a year older. But biologically, the range of biological aging ranges from 0.4 biological years per chronological year to 2.6 biological years per chronological year. So you really want to be in the group who have the lowest biological aging pace.
Well, that's really interesting. How strong is the relationship between the oral health and general health? Can the mouth truly be considered a mirror of the body?
That's a very good question. And again, it's studies like ours which can truly answer that. There's a lot of work being done out there saying that, for example, gum disease is responsible for a lot of conditions like heart disease and diabetes and other conditions. But that evidence comes from cross-sectional studies which have been done on middle-aged and older people. And what they miss out there is people's journey through life to that point. And when you look in our study, for example, and you look at the development of gum disease through adult life and the development of these other conditions, they're all developing together, and they're due to other exposures such as smoking and other sort of adverse sort of lifestyle, if I can use that in inverted commas, people's behaviours and exposures. So you get people, because gum disease and tooth decay, they're just another chronic disease really that afflicts us as we age. And so if you're going to look at the other end of the age span and look at these associations, you will see that they are associated, but they're not necessarily, one is not necessarily causing the other.
Of course. Yeah. So which elements become in the first stage when it's come to hurting or affecting the oral health based on the research?
Yeah. What we found is that it's the little things that we do day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, that determine our health as we age. And certainly,
the first stage?
Yeah. Well, all the way through life. Certainly for oral health, excuse me, we've found that, two people, one person might have sugar in their tea, the other person might not have sugar in their tea. And if you look at any stage during their lives, you might see a slight difference, or, it's not that big a difference. But if you follow them through life and you look at their different exposure as they're aging, the person who has sugar in their tea time after time, day after day, week after week, will have poorer health, poorer dental health, be fatter, if you like, than the other person, and have poorer glycemic control. So they'd be more prone to diabetes and heart disease and all those things.
So sugar is the first element that affects the oral health?
Another one is smoking, cigarette smoking.
A lot of people wouldn't quit smoking. They say it's something that relieves them, give them a good feeling, but it's become in the second stage of the elements that affect the oral health?
Oh, it affects all of our health, and it affects our longevity, it affects how we age facially, for example. Again, we've been able to show that people who smoke all the way through their lives have much poorer health, general health, oral health. Wow. And those who give up, for example, we've shown that those who give up in their mid-20s, their gums recover to the point where by the time, 7 or 8 years later, their gums have are almost as good as those who never smoked.
So there is a recovery after quitting smoke.
There is.
For the oral health?
Yep.
And that's really
certainly
interesting.
For general health.
Okay.
In my country, a packet of cigarettes costs $50. We have progressively made smoking far less attractive and far less common.
Okay.
And because it was costing us so much.
So how did you find the Iraqi people? I mean, you have findings from a big important research about smoking and the effect of smoking on the oral health, and you just visited Iraq. How did you find the people? They smoke a lot or not?
They do smoke a lot, yeah.
Okay.
Certainly.
Did you tell them about all these findings?
Well, I haven't told the Iraqi people in general, but I've certainly told my Iraqi dental students about the adverse effects of smoking. And some of them smoke, but I don't know how much longer they are going to smoke after what I showed them.
Okay, well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, based on your research, Professor Thomson, what social or economic factors most strongly influence oral health over the long term?
Sure. I think where we start is crucial. So if we're born in a poor family and we stay in a poor, low socioeconomic status throughout our lives, we will end up having much worse health than people who are born in a well-off family and stay well off. But where it's really interesting is if we look at people who are upwardly mobile and downwardly mobile. Because I myself am upwardly mobile. I come from a small coal mining town in New Zealand. So as we go through life, our social class, if you like, of destination becomes much more important. Where we end up in adult life. So if you have a good job, it's well paid, and you're able to live in a clean and healthy and safe area, you have much better health than somebody who doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of the key determinants of that is our childhood cognitive function. So brighter children end up having better lives because they are able to get themselves into trajectories of health and life that ensure that they have better health and better lives.
Okay.
The relationship there is really, really strong.
Really?
Yeah. Really
That's
strong.
really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we have to rely on this research because the findings are really important, and it may be surprising, but this is life. This is the truth.
Yeah.
Professor, your work has examined the effectiveness of dental care in improving the lives of children and their families also. What key findings stand out to you in this research?
Sure. Yeah. I had the great opportunity, the great privilege of, well over a quarter of a century ago, of being invited into a group led by the late, great David Locker, who were developing a quality of oral health-related quality of life measure for use with children. And then David Locker subsequently passed away, and somebody had to keep working on those child measures, and I and my colleagues in New Zealand took that opportunity and ran with it. And what we were able to show is we have a big problem with early childhood tooth decay in New Zealand. So little children with far too much decay. We end up having to treat them under general anaesthetic in hospital, and a lot of them get teeth taken out. It's horrendous. You're taking lots of teeth out of tiny mouths. And we measured the quality of life with these new measures, the quality of life of the family and that of the child before treatment and then after treatment, and found that we reduced the impact of the child's condition on the family. There was less arguing among the parents, for example, or blaming each other for the child having tooth decay, etc. The parent rated, because these kids can't answer questionnaires themselves because they're so small, but we get the parental informants to fill out the questionnaire. So Yeah, and they themselves noticed, we had big effects in terms of the improvement in the quality of life of the child.
So you were keeping up with all of these childs for a lifetime?
No, it was
not a period?
No, this was separate from the Dunedin study. These were separate clinical samples, so we assessed them before treatment and then 4 weeks after treatment.
Okay.
But we haven't continued to follow them because it would have been too sort of invasive, and we didn't have enough money to do it. You always need money for research.
Yes, of course. Professor, with global populations aging rapidly, what major challenges do health systems face in providing educate oral health care for older adults? I mean, adults must be educated about that, not only the children.
Yeah, we have an amazing demographic challenge now, particularly in the Western industrialized countries, and Japan has led the way here. That we have far more older people, because people are living longer, and they're retaining far more teeth. And that's fine, it's great. Back in 3 or 4 decades ago in New Zealand, most of our old people had no teeth. It was a done thing to have all of your teeth taken out and dentures made, and particularly for women, and particularly early, so in their 20s. Now that's changed, but we're now faced with, we're almost victims of our own success, because we have more and more older people with more and more teeth, and because they're living longer, because the prevalence of smoking is a lot lower. So people aren't dying early of the high blood pressure and the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or the heart attacks. They're tending to live longer, but we now have an epidemic of dementia as a result, because all of the risk factors for dementia earlier in the life course have allowed cause the dementia to develop, and now we have people who are in nursing homes with lots of their own teeth, and they're rotting away very quickly because of the dementia and the fact that these people can't clean their teeth properly and won't let anybody else clean them. Yeah, it's quite sad. It's a real challenge. It's
really sad, and it's really challenging for all of these people. I want to ask you a question. One time I've read a research that the oral health condition affects the heart diseases, and it will give you maybe a heartbreak or something like that, a coma. Is it really true after all of these research and findings that you find through these years about the oral health and the dental health?
We found no evidence for that in our study.
So it's not true?
It's not true, no. I mean, where it can affect the heart is if somebody has had a history of rheumatic fever as a child and they have damaged heart valves. Then you get a dental infection, and the bacteria can go into the blood and settle out on those damaged valves and cause endocarditis. The other thing is, if you have a really bad infection of a lower tooth, it can spread down the tissue planes into the central part of the chest where the heart is. But the notion that that gum disease causes heart disease or worsens it in otherwise healthy people is really not supported by good evidence. There's a lot of bad evidence out there.
So this is not a good research that I've heard or just read about. And I'm happy, because a lot of time I'm thinking that if I'm having bad oral health, maybe it will affect my heart in the future. So now I'm just convincing this is not the ugly truth that I know.
But good oral health is a good thing to aim for in its own right, because the cleaner and the healthier your teeth are, the more you interact socially, you can have a beautiful smile, and you can eat your food without problems.
So what advice would you give to the young researchers and dental students interested in public health and the life course research also?
Keep that that flame, that fire, that interest, and nurture it, and read.
Okay.
Contact people like myself who might be able to advise you and, tell you what the best course of action would be in order to get involved in such research, and to keep your curiosity going.
Okay. So with these wise words, I'm not done yet with the questions. I have something for the AUIB, of course. And I'm going to ask you, what motivates you, Professor Thomson, to deliver this course at the American University of Iraq, Baghdad? And what are your first impressions of the academic environment here?
Oh, that's a big question. Yeah. Curiosity. You know, I've heard about Iraq. I've had Iraqi students in New Zealand, and they've been lovely people. And it's I love the food from this part of the world. AUIB is a fascinating place and a fascinating setting. And my old friend and colleague, Professor Zach Morse, is here, and he made the initial contact and set things up, and it's been great to come over here and work with him again, and the people in the dental school are a great bunch.
Okay, we send our greetings for him and for making this opportunity possible for you to come and for us to invite you to the AUIB FM and talk about this really important research. I have a lot of questions. What are the main objectives of this course? And what do you hope participants will gain from it? I mean, there is a students, now they know this research, and maybe they want to be part of it in the future.
Sure. It's a population oral health course, and it's in the final year of their BDS, the dental degree course. And so up to this point, they have been very much focused on the biology and the pathology of dental disease and treating the patient in the chair and thinking very much about providing safe and effective and evidence-based dental care for those people. But we also, as a profession and as dentists, need to think more widely about what's causing the disease that we're seeing in the chair and what's realistic for us to expect of our patients in terms of helping them change their behaviour. I always use the analogy, I come from a coal mining town, lots of coal mines, underground coal mines. So they're down there digging for the coal. Even now they are, I wish they weren't, but they need the mine surveyors to tell them where to go, in which direction to dig. And I think people like me, the dental public health people and the population oral health people, and the discipline of population oral health is serving that purpose of being the surveyor saying, well, actually, we think we need to be heading over here in order to improve the oral health of the Iraqi population.
Okay, so about the destination and what they have to do in the future, how can students and dental professionals apply what they learn in this course to improve oral health outcomes in their local communities?
Yeah, very good question. I think, other than the treating people, the delivery of the dental care, I think we also have a key role as witnesses and advocacy. So we see what's happening, and if we see, for example, 10 multinational companies control the bulk of the world's food supply. Your Nestle, your Mars, your Coca-Cola, those sorts of companies, PepsiCo, and they're very much interested in selling lots and lots of ultra-processed...
Doing marketing so they sell more.
High sugar, high salt, high fat rubbish to us, and part of the consequences of that is poor health, and particularly poor oral health.
Yes.
And so part of what we can do, or should do as dentists, is start
and also
identifying that and fighting back.
Also putting unnatural flavors for the people, so they just buy more and more from their products.
Yeah.
We all know that. I mean, Professor, in your view, what are the most pressing research priorities in oral health within this region? I mean,
oh, yeah. You're not faced at the moment with the same aging population problem that we have. You have a very much younger population. If you look at the age pyramid, it's a lot wider at the bottom than ours would be. So I think you have a great opportunity with such a young population to really make a difference to people's lives, so that when the age structure does change and you have a lot more old people in your population, they've had better lives. They've, from an oral health point of view, they've got almost complete dentition, sets of teeth that are healthy, and they can socialise and chew their food still and lead good lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the end, Professor Thomson, what key skills are essential for building a new generation of researchers capable of conducting long-term studies similar to the Dunedin study, specifically here at AUIB, after what you see and what you heard and all the faculty team and the students? Could we do that?
I think so, yeah. I mean, one of the other things I'm doing and while I'm here has been helping develop the student research projects. So I think we need to let students realise that research isn't just for people with pointy heads or whatever. Research can be done by anyone, and research, the key with research is curiosity, but it's also about completing it, taking it through to the point where you can collect your data, analyse your data, report your data, produce a report that then goes forward and does the business, if you like. So an important part of research is the technical writing, the producing, the tables. It sounds very dry and boring, but it's essential. And developing those technical writing skills and thinking skills is I think very important. And it's about interpreting what we see in the appropriate way, so that we don't go out there telling everybody, oh, your gum disease is going to ruin your kidneys or your lungs or your brain or whatever.
Okay,
Yeah.
So this will be the first and the last visit for AUIB, or there is something for the future with the students and the faculty of AUIB?
Well, who knows, my wife has been very patient in letting me go away overseas for 3 weeks. And
what about the students and the faculty team? Did they tell you that we need you more and more here to do research and do it in the most possible and the right way?
I think they're open to that,
Okay.
and so we'll have further
They're
conversations.
Okay. Okay, so Professor Murry Thomson, we are really honored to have you with us here today at the Uni Voice Show and Meet the Expert segments. I'm really happy to have you with us today, and it was really, really fruitful conversation with you, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much. Shukran.
Afwan.